You're gonna be able to see my mic today, man. But nevertheless, today I'm talking about entry-level jobs and why I don't really like them. Now, I'm gonna speak more of a personal perspective. The ambulance going past now. But I'm gonna be talking on a personal perspective because I've been working an entry-level job for the last around 4 years. I've been working in a Sainsbury's, and a lot of my talking points are gonna be about Sainsbury's, mainly because that's all I know, really. Now, I know there are a bunch of other entry-level jobs that have different negatives and different positives, but I'm gonna be going not into too much detail because when I leave Sainsbury's there will be an exposed video, so subscribe for that. But I'm just gonna talk about some of the negatives that come along an entry-level job and why I don't really recommend them too much in terms of semi-long term. So I started working for Sainsbury's at around 17 years old. I had just turned 17 a couple months before that, and it was around 2019 November, so right before the pandemic started. Because I was 17 and you need to be 18 to do a lot of the tasks, I was really just on till and doing, I guess, left behinds, putbacks, whatever you call it. You know, when customers leave their items and you got to put it back on the shelf. That's all I was really doing for about 10 months. Then when I turned 18, after 2 or 3 months, I was trained on self-checkout, kiosk, customer service, how to run a shift, and I basically became a team leader within like 3 months of me turning 18. Now, as I stated before, I've been in Sainsbury's for 4 years. So if I already became a team leader 3 months after turning 18, which would have been 13 months into the business, what happened for the rest of the time? A lot of the times, they don't want you to progress. They just want really good working colleagues to stay at colleague level, because if they don't have enough good working colleagues, the store won't run. And that's kind of the trap I feel like I fell into, especially with entry-level jobs not looking favorable for people my age because they want to do entrepreneurial stuff, or they want to have these high jobs or social media things and all of that stuff. A lot of the times they just need colleagues, and even though they're declining hours and all that stuff, a lot of the colleagues in entry-level jobs are a lot older because it wasn't as bad to have entry-level jobs back in the day. So a lot of the people are around like 50s, 60s, especially where I work, and then there's a lot of people in their 20s and early 30s. There's like a huge gap in the middle between like around 25 to about 50. Basically, I fell into that trap because I wanted to get manager training, but no matter how much advice I followed, I did everything I could. I transferred to another store, I learned cash office, I learned other departments. I was literally trained in the entire store, but it still wasn't enough. They still found reasons to deny me manager training. And once I picked up a disciplinary, it was basically over. That was their excuse. And this kind of leans into my second point. Because I couldn't get manager training, I had to stay as a colleague. And because I'm a colleague who knows how to do so many things around the store, your workload just increases. It's just not sustainable. Sainsbury's is a high risk and low reward job, especially at the colleague level. And that's because people who are capable be given more and more of a workload, and then other people who just don't want to work aren't given that much of a load to burden, I guess. I get in charge of running shift, making sure Argos is okay, making sure online deliveries is okay, dealing with refunds and doing all of that type of stuff. It's not that it's a crazy workload, it's that if it gets really busy, you still have to manage all of the things and make sure everything runs smoothly. And doing that on a day-to-day basis, when you get paid the same as someone who just has to stay at self-scan the whole shift, it doesn't really seem fair. Sainsbury's doesn't really incentivize you to do more work unless it's off the strength of your own character. So basically, off the strength of my own character, because I wanted to learn more and I wanted to progress, they basically halted the progression and said, you're just a really good colleague. So now because you're a really good colleague, we're going to put you in charge of all of these stuff and you just got to shoulder the burden. And if you make a mistake in any way, it doesn't matter how much your burden is, you still get penalized as severely as the next person who doesn't do shit. Now, overall, there are a lot of positives that come to entry-level jobs. Things like how to follow instructions, how to lead and be led, how to work as a team, how to work on goals that are bigger than the sum of your own parts. All those type of things are great for entry-level jobs in terms of what you need to learn. Because I would say personally that being in a job like Sainsbury's has really helped me develop as a person and as an asset to other people, because that's kind of what life is. How are you going to benefit other people? Being in an entry-level job has really helped me in terms of what I can bring to a group. However, in terms of the long term, all an entry level does really is those things. Once you learn those things, you don't really progress after that because there's not really an avenue to progress like that. And because they're slowly upticking the pay, but they're doing it at a consistent enough rate, people have an obligation to stay longer because they're consistently getting a bit more money per week. It's not really enough for people that want to progress and want to do more things. So while there are short-term benefits, in my opinion, to having entry-level jobs, to do it somewhat long-term, or to do it for as long as I have, I wouldn't recommend it because all it just brings is just annoyance, to be honest. That's all it really brings. But Let me know your thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know. Maybe I'm just ignorant. You already know I listen to all the comments. I read all the comments. Most of y'all don't be commenting or subscribing anyway. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that's it, really.
I'm not a savior nor a saint. Told 30s and sticks with an open case. I try to behave when I know I can't. So purpose of this is to motivate. What's the ticket? Shit we can negotiate. Take a toke of the law while I pour the drink.